So last class we have seen test levels. Now let's see what is a test plan. So I told you, right, in our testing life cycle we have seen test plan design is done by QA manager or a test lead, right? But what is a test plan? Why do you need that? And test plan is a document which describes the objectives, scope, approach, and focus of a software testing effort. That's a test plan means. So what is a test plan definition? A test plan is a document that describes the objectives, scope, approach, and major focus on effort, testing effort, how much time you need to finish the testing. So that is the test plan means. So the process of preparing a test plan is a useful way to think through the efforts needed to validate the acceptability of the software product, how you can accept the product, and that how many ways you can test it and validate that. That is the main purpose of preparing a test plan. So that completed document will help outside people also to understand why and how of the product validation is going to be done. That's what people can understand. Okay, which project you are testing, why you are testing this project, and how you are testing validation, how you are performing the validation. All will be verified and get the info by seeing this test plan document. So during test plan, we make sure that we understand the goals and objectives of a customers, stakeholders, and the project. So and the risk which testing is intended to address, we need to handle them. So that's the test plan. So there are a few more topics: test policy and test strategy. Test policy gives rules for testing, and we always review the design document. That's a rule. You have to do that. That's a test policy means. So what is a test strategy? Test strategy is overall high-level approach. System testing is carried out by an independent team reporting to the QA manager. That's a test strategy. So this definition is important. Concentrate: test plan definition, test policy, and test strategy. Then what is the test plan document content? What will be there inside the content? It's a plain Word document, okay? And what is there inside that Word document? Test plan document. So this is the components all. Test plan ID will be there. Test plan about the client and company you will understand, and they will write about what is the client and who is the client and which company is developing that. Then reference documents. So what documents you need for testing? So right, BRS, FRS, and use cases and screen layouts, right? These documents will be mentioned under reference documents. So what are the different versions? All those things will be mentioned there. That's a second component of a test plan. And then a scope. Scope means what to be tested, what not to be tested. Scope means what you are testing, what functionality you are testing, what functionality you don't need to test, what type of testings you need to perform. So all this scope will be mentioned under scope field. An overview of the application. Okay, which application you are developing, what that application is, what is meant by that application. Is it a e-commerce application? Is it an insurance application? What is that? That overview will be given in this overview of the application. Then testing approach. Testing approach is starting with a test strategy. Test strategy means overall high-level approach, and so that's a testing approach means what are the different types of testings you are going to perform, what methodologies you will follow, what techniques you will follow. Those all will be mentioned under this test approach. What is the approach you are following to test the application? Is it a manual testing or automation testing also you are going to do, or performance testing you need to do? So what are the different testing types you will do? Manual or automation testing, performance testing, mobile testing. What are the different types of testings you need to perform? So that will be explained in this testing approach. And for each testing, you have to give, okay, what type of testings you are performing. So what is the definition of the testing? So what is the start criteria? When you need to start the testing, when you need to stop the testing, and that's the each testing, the definition, start and end criteria will be given. And what are the resources and roles and responsibilities? As a tester, who will be participated in this project? That's a resources. Resources means like your QA manager, then test lead, then some senior test engineers, junior test engineers. These are all resources. Then what is your roles and responsibilities? Roles means what is your role? You are a software engineer or software test engineer or a test lead or QA manager. That's the role. But what is the responsibility? QA manager responsibility is managing the task for them, getting it done by team. So all the tasks need to be finished by the testing team. So that's what is responsibilities. But as a testing team, what is the individual tester responsibilities? Your responsibility is they will assign some functionality to you to test it, right? Then what you will do, you will read and understand that functionality, that feature related requirements. Then you will write the test cases. Then you will ask for review and you will ask for approve that test cases based on the requirement document. And that's your roles and responsibilities. So responsibilities still, that's only designing the test cases. Once you get a build, you execute the test cases. One by one, you execute the test case. Prepare the test log report. Test log report means basically your result, your results, test results. You're going to show in the test log report. Then you will find any defect. If you find any defect, you will report them. Report them in the defect tracking tool. What are the defect tracking tools are there? So I explained Jira, Bugzilla, ALM, Issue Tracker. So many bug tracking tools are there. Any one bug tracking tool, you'll file the bugs. That's your responsibility. While testing, if any test case fails, and once you file the defects, and every day you have to attend the meetings and give your test status. So what you are doing, you executed today 20 test cases. So how many bugs you filed today? And then the testing will continue further one more time and to finish the entire test cases. So second day also you continue, third day also you continue, fourth day also you continue. And so you should finish all the test case execution in the entire application. Then you will see this, any bugs are there, you will file the bugs, then bug triage meeting will happen. In the bug triage meeting, you have to give the status. Okay, these bugs are important, these bugs need to be fixed. And if this bug is there, we cannot test these features. You have to explain clearly. What are the bugs you filed also you need to explain one by one, right? So that's the bug triage meeting. Once it is done, they will take care of each bug and they will fix them. They will send back to your testing team. Once it came back to testing team, so all the fixed bugs you have to verify one by one. That is called retesting or bug fix verification. Once all the bug fix verification is done, you need to do one more round of testing. That's a regression testing you have to perform. What is regression testing? Regression testing is, so you are ensuring that no new bugs introduced in unchanged areas of the application because of modifications to that application. It should not affect it. That's this regression testing. If no new bugs are found, you can give a sign off and you will respond to the mails. These are all your roles and responsibilities. That's your responsibilities. What you will do, that's a responsibilities. This question they will ask you, make sure you answer properly. What you will do as a tester. So all the points you give one by one. So defect definition. So what are the different types of defects? It's the critical bugs, showstopper bug, major bugs, medium bugs, low bugs. All these are defect definition you give. What is meant by each bug? Then which bug are there? You can release the product. Which bug is there? You should not release the product. You should not release the feature. So that's a defect definition will be given. What is meant by showstopper? Showstopper means you should not deliver the feature. Immediately they have to address and deploy in the environment so that you can continue your testing. Showstopper means it is stopping your testing activity. You cannot continue your testing. That's a showstopper means. And then critical. Critical means functionality broken. That is also danger. Important functionality is broken. Then you say critical. But you can continue testing, but the one feature is not working. Serious issue. Then major. Maybe a small one functionality not working. Then you can give major defect. And low, very UI bugs. All this overlapping, right? So like this. So let me show you here. So one we have in our blog. See, these are overlapping. Can you see the search button and this settings edit icon? Both are overlapping. And here also this is text two and this one overlapping. That's not correct, right? These are UI issues. These are cosmetic UI issues, we call them. So such kind of UI issues cannot be so major. It's not affecting anything, right? So you can access the website again still. But the small issues, those are all. So those small issues we can so very low. You can release the product, no issues at all. That's this defect definition means. And next one, risk, contingency, and mitigation plan. Risk, contingency, and mitigation plan. What is a risk? What is a contingency and mitigation plan? Risk means some unexpected event will happen that stops your execution, that stops your testing activity, and a lot of problems will come. If risk is there, so what is the alternative plan? How you can reduce that risk? That's a mitigation. Mitigation means how you can reduce the risk. Contingency means what is the alternative plan? Okay, risk, you got it. So what is the alternative plan to continue your testing, all these things? So that's the risk, contingency, and mitigation plans. Let me give you more examples. So risk means, for example, you're using an environment. The environment suddenly crashes and you don't have other environment means that's not the right way and your testing will stop. So the risk, you need to guess all those things. Risk will come, okay, your environment might crash. Then what is the next alternative? You have to keep one environment reserve. That's an alternative plan. So keep the environment reserve and then you can reduce the risk. If that crashes, immediately you can use this next environment. That's a mitigation and contingency you can take up. And then training required. Sorry, one more. Let me give. First risk I have given. If environment went down and you don't have other means, that's a risk. But what is the alternative plan? You have to prepare a shadow one a backup environment. Preparing a backup environment is contingency and mitigation plan. You're reducing. You have readily backup environment. If this goes down and this one you can use the alternative one. That's a one risk. Second risk, suppose you're testing the environment and one of the test engineer decided to leave the company. He got a good opportunity and he wants to leave the company. And he is the one testing this new feature and he knows everything. But he is suddenly leaving and who will take care of that feature? So then immediately what you need to do, your manager has to prepare one shadow resource. Shadow resource means two persons have the idea of the same feature, so that one person is absent, other person can take care of it. But other person also has the same other work, right? Then temporarily, until the new resource comes into his place, so the other person can take care of this feature also. And new person, they have to recruit, and then until that, don't release this guy who is leaving the company. Don't release. So they have to recruit quickly and ask to join immediately. And then this who is leaving the company, that guy has to provide a knowledge transfer to new person, and all the functionality has to explain the new person to the new person. He has to comfortable with the functionality. He has to understand the entire process. Then you can release that guy who wants to leave the company. That's the another shadow resource preparation, and quickly recruiting a new person and giving a KT sessions to that guy. So these are all the things we have to do. That's a second risk. And third risk, the resource is not well and his health conditions is not good, he is not able to attend the company duties, then who will take care of his areas? That's what we need to prepare, a shadow resource. And now testing is going on, that person is not attending, then so suddenly you have to do, you can ask your manager, so some other person you will put there and he will continue testing in absence of other person. So that's the risks are there, and how can you reduce the risk by planning alternative plans and mitigation plans. So training required. You are working on manual testing, but they will ask, we need to automate this. Then they will provide a automation training or some other training, whatever the training you need to do the next level up. So you can use any trainings are required. Then schedules. Schedules is a very important component in the test plan. So schedules means the start time and end time. So when the testing starts, when the testing should end. That's the schedules will be given for release dates and everything will be given in the schedules column. And then deliverables, what you are going to deliver, what you will deliver. That's a deliverables like a test plan document, test case document, test log document, defect report. These are all the deliverables. These deliverables you need to provide to the client, that they will explain in the deliverables. These are all the components of a test plan. Then what is the test plan and the test strategy difference? A test plan is a document that describes the scope, approach, objectives, and major focus on software testing effort. That's our first point. And what is a test strategy? A test strategy is a set of guidelines that explains the test design and determines how testing needs to be done. That's our test strategy. Test strategy and test plan differences we are seeing now. And second point, components of test plan is test plan ID, features to be tested, testing techniques. Testing techniques means like we have so many verification techniques, validation techniques. Verification techniques are you have a reviews, walkthroughs, and inspections. And validation techniques, we have black box testing, white box testing, gray box testing. And testing tasks, what you will perform. So the features, pass or fail criteria, and test deliverables, responsibilities, risk and contingency mitigation plans, schedules. So these are all components of a test plan document. So then what is the components of test strategy? So test strategy includes objectives and scope, documentation formats. Okay, your test plan document, what is the format? Your test case document, what is the format? And all this defect template, what is the format? So this documentation formats and what is the test process you need to follow for testing. Now test process, team reporting structure, whom you need to report. So that reporting structure and client communication strategy, how you need to communicate with the client. What are the hierarchy levels? So this all will be explained in the test strategy document. You have a standards and guidelines will be there. So test plan is carried out by a testing manager or lead that describes how to test, when to test, who will test, and what to test. That's a test plan is carried out by QA manager or lead, and that describes how to test, when to test. When means a date, the start date and end date. Who will test? So which test engineer is testing this feature? And what to test, what feature you are testing. That's all will be explained here. A test strategy is carried out by the project manager. It says what type of technique to follow and which module to test. That's a test strategy. The test plan narrates about the specification. Test strategy narrates about the general approaches for an entire company. Okay. Test strategy is an entire company, how you need to follow for each project, what is the approaches that will be given here in the test strategy. Test plan can change from project to project, but test strategy cannot be changed. It's a fixed. For entire company, one test strategy document will be there. Test plan, it will vary from project to project. So test planning is done to determine possible issues and dependencies in order to identify the risks. And test strategy is a long-term plan of action. You can abstract information that is not project specific and put it into test approach. So you can customize your test strategy. And test plan exists individually for individual projects. But test strategy is sometimes part of test plan, and test plan is defined at a project level, particular project level, but test strategy is set at an organization level and can be used by multiple projects. That's a difference between test plan and a test strategy. So this is a very, very important topic, and many people ask this question: what is the difference between test plan and a test strategy? Okay, so that's all about this. Tomorrow we'll focus on the testing techniques, a very, very important topic. We'll target this. Any questions?
No, sir. We